Hey, welcome everybody to Lindholme Lakes. I'm Paul Yates. I'm here today, sun's out and I'm getting my shallow rigs out. Setting up a pole roller is massive when you're shallow fishing. You could be shipping in and out 500 times during the day. So getting this right is super important. We've got the back roller set up to support it when it's at its full length, but we're setting it up initially off this front roller. This is going to act as a seesaw. So when you're shipping out, you get to the butt joints coming off this front roller. It's going to be nicely balanced. I'm then going to be the one that's supporting the pole, and we're going to make sure that there's no tangles. Okay, pole rollers are in place. Let me show you what I mean by the seesaw effect. So as the pole comes off the back roller, this is really nice and balanced, just top heavy. So we're not going to be like coming up in the air with a rig and got a chance of tangling. We're basically feeding the pole out, and as we come off this front roller, I am literally now the seesaw. So if I bring it onto here, you can see I'm literally the seesaw now. The weight again, just top heavy, safe tangling. The rig's going through the water, and we get to the length, and then we can start fishing. Having bait boxes either side, really important. It's allowing me to just keep the feed going in for the next fish, prepping my swim, really important. But also, because we're looking to catch down the edges as the day goes on, having a bait box this side allows me to feed both sides while I'm playing the fish and not wasting any time. Again, getting the confidence up down the margins, regular feeding, and also it's not wasting any time. margins while I'm still playing a fish. So choice of elastics really important here. When I'm fishing the long pole, I'm wanting a super soft elastic, which then allows me to feed my peg once I've actually hooked a fish. As the fish moves out the peg, I'm then wanting to feed my peg. So if I've got a tight elastic and it's feeling like my pole's going and my hand's going, it's going to make it awkward to feed. So what I'm looking for is a nice smooth elastic, just to allow the fish to go out to swim, free my hands up to start feeding my peg. The catapult I generally use for this style of fishing is the medium soft, perfect for firing maggots, casters, pellets. I've changed the pouch on it, and I've also changed the length on the elastic. From how it comes out the packet, I normally chop an inch off to 1.5 inches off, and then put this type of cup on. I find it just perfect. When I'm firing the bait out, all I'm looking for is it just pulls to tension. I just got a feel for it, and it releases the bait to that distance every time. So when I'm playing fish and I'm out of the swim, so I'm not using my pole to get the distance, I can pull the elastic back, fill my catapult up with the maggots, pull the elastic back and just release, and they'll go to the distance I'm looking for. The things I use for shallow fishing are a 3/8, a 4/8 and a 4/10s. Mainly just a small bulk, just above the double loop hook length. I have been using an FXT match quink link swivel. It just allows me to change the hook length very quickly from a shorter one to a longer one. Plus also the bands as well. So I'm using a Frenzy microband, clear Frenzy microband, and a single maggot. The depths I'm setting these floats at, I've got 6 or 7 rigs set up, and they're starting at 5 inches going up to 13 inches. The killing depth for me is around about 7 to 9 inches. When they turn up at that length, when they get settled on that length, that really does seem to be the length that I do most damage. As the day goes on, maybe early in the match, they're a little bit deeper, but as the day goes on, they come shallower and shallower, and they are easier to catch when they come shallower. Mainly because you're hitting more bites. I'm using a very light finesse type float. It's a very slim bristled float, 1 mil. I've actually doctored this float slightly. It's a hollow tip float, and I've actually cut the top off it, and I've threaded a length of carbon down it and glued it all in. And I've also glued the float with arrow dye all around the eye, base of the float, base of the stem and everything, to basically make it indestructible. There's nothing worse than when you're catching a few fish to start having a disaster with floats starting to disintegrate. The elastic choice, I like to fish on the lighter side, but the shorter I fish, the heavier the elastic I fish, just because I'm in control of the fish more, where when I'm out fishing at distance, it's easier to fish with a lighter elastic. The pole's not being pulled left and right and making it awkward for me to feed while I'm actually playing the fish. The lash, it's a term that we use, but it's the distance between the dacron, the connector, to the tip of the float. It's 8 inches at Lindholme, and it's really important to keep that distance. The rigs that I've got set up, reason why I've got numerous rigs where I get set up, is because to cover all the depths and to keep the same 8-inch lash. Okay, hook length choice, super important. Diameters, 0.12 normally, but I do step up to 0.14 if the peg is prepared for a little bit heavier line. But it's the length that's really important. 2 lengths, 3 inches and 2 inches. Difficult to tie the 2 inches, but really, really worth it. When the fish come really shallow, 5, 7 inches, the 2-inch hook length, it's the shot I can get in the right place below centre of the rig, and it enables me to see the bites and hook more bites. The 3-inch rig, normally around about 9-11 inches depth. When the fish are feeding it, that's perfect. Again, going back to the FXT Match Quick Link Swivel, it enables me and allows me to swap and change between these 2 hook lengths accordingly. Again, I'm using a little frenzy band, single maggot threaded on, perfect. A feeding pattern that's worked really well for me on willers, especially in the margins, is once I've hooked a fish, I'm feeding around 40 to 60 maggots twice. That's basically to keep the fish there and happy. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to reduce the bait down once the fish is in the landing net. I'm going to feed again. I'm going to reduce it down to 15 maggots. So then, once I'm rehooking some bait or threading another maggot on, I'm going to reduce it down again to 10 maggots. Once I've shipped back out and I'm going to lay the rig in, I'm going to reduce it down again to around 6 maggots. This is basically to bring the fish, to starve them up in the water, to get them to the depth that my rig's set at, and makes them easier to catch. If I kept feeding 40, 60 maggots, they'd be too deep and it'd be take me a little bit longer to catch the fish and I'll miss more bites. So we'll try. There's 10 maggots. And now we're going to follow the rig in with 5 or 6 maggots. Okay, so there's a fish on there now. So we're going to 40 maggots. That's to keep them happy, that's to keep them in the area. If I kept, like I say, if I kept feeding that amount of bait, they'd be a little bit too deep to catch them quickly. So once the fish is in the landing net and in an hooking position, it's actually unhooked itself, so I'm going to transfer that back and then I'm going to start feeding. I'm going to reduce it down, 15 maggots. Maggots fine. Again, reducing it down again, 10. And then we're going to follow 6 in. And there we go, another one on straight away. No missed bites, really clean. And we're going to go back again now, we're going to go 40 to 60 maggots again. just trying to keep them at that depth that makes them easier to catch. 7 to 9 inches. Maggot again, perfect, still okay. 2 fish on that banded maggot. Just a single white maggot. Find it a standout bait for me on here. Other lakes, reds and fluoros, but this particular lake I prefer whites. So again, we're cutting it down again. We've got 15. $12, 10 or 12 maggots, and then we're down to 6, and we're going to follow the 6 in. Again, fish on again, good fish. And again, repeating the process. No missed bites. Rig's not been in the water for 30 seconds. And again, we're going to start reducing it down again. 15. Again, maggot's fine. Still sat in the band, single white maggot. This is at 7 inches deep. 10 maggots. Joints on. We're going to follow it. Just 6 maggots now. We're going to follow them 6 maggots in. Probably waited about 20 seconds there, 30 seconds. So we're going to feed another 6 maggots and follow it in again. There we go, fish on. Another good fish. Again, repeating the process again. great day shallow fishing, some really big F1s, Lindholme Lakes. I just hope that the approach that I've used today will help you on your next journey out shallow fishing.